If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. So as everybody knows, I've been planning my adventure for this summer and actually for next winter. It's been quite a gruesome process, I'll be honest. We're in Texas right now. We come from Florida and into Texas. We're gonna go see the North Rim Grand Canyon. Not the popular one, but the one way up there on the north side. And we're gonna spend 2 to 6 weeks there. But of course, after that, we really don't have any idea what we were gonna do. So this morning, I was looking around. You know, I really wanna go back to Washington State. I wanna take Carolyn to Washington State. When I was in the Navy, I actually was stationed in Washington. It's a town near Silverdale, Washington, or Bremerton, Washington. I was on a submarine, so I was actually on a submarine base, not the base, not the big Navy base. So I always wanted to take her back there. Well, I've been to Seattle area, Washington area, since I've been in the Navy. I took my ex-wife there. She wanted to go see Seattle. She was from the 90s. She was a big grunge person. Anybody knows anything about grunge, it took off in the Seattle area about the same time I was in the Navy, as a matter of fact. She wanted to go see it. Well, you know, we didn't have a lot of money. We had a 2004 Chevy Cavalier. You know, it's just a little beater car. Those things weren't very reliable. As a matter of fact, it finally gave up the fight. I think it had 123,000 miles on it when it finally gave up the fight in, I think, 08. So it only lasted like 4 years. And so anyway, we went up to Seattle in this old car, took my daughter. She was probably 8 years old. We got to Wyoming and it was late. So we stopped in a rest area and we spent the night. Oh, it was so cold. I remember how cold it was. And I'd get up every few hours and just start the car. Of course, I'm trying to force myself not to fall asleep because I don't want to get carbon monoxide poisoning. You know, I was always told if you left the car running, you get carbon monoxide poisoning. And we went to Seattle. We hung out there, just slept in the car, stayed at rest areas. I think we stayed one night in a hotel room. And so for 2 weeks, that's what we did. We went up there, hung around, and came back. I had no reservations back then. Even with an 8-year-old daughter and a young wife. My wife was 10 years younger than I was. So, well, now, almost 48, I'm 47 years old, I have a lot more reservations. It seems like I struggle to get past this thought, okay, we're safe here, and now we're going to go in Arizona, and where I really don't know anything. I don't know how hard it's going to be. I don't know all the resources. I don't know anything. And I think, man, I got to push through this. And the thing is now, I mean, we have a significant savings account. You know, I always say you got to have an emergency fund. So we have an emergency fund. I'm making a livable wage. We can travel. So if something goes wrong, we can fix it. No problem. If, you know, if it gets cold, we're in a camper. I can turn on the heater. So there's less things that can go wrong now than it was when, you know, 15, 20 years ago. And I have more fear about what we're doing now than I did back then. I just don't feel as invincible as I did back then. I mean, I don't even know if I ever really thought about what would I do if the car broke down right here in the middle of Montana. I remember we drove back from Washington to Missouri. In Washington, believe it or not, it was like in the 70s the whole time we were there. But when we started heading back through Montana, in Wyoming, we actually stopped at Devil's Tower. We saw a sign that said Devil's Tower, and I said, oh, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And of course, my wife had no idea what I was talking about. So we went over there and we checked it out. And it was snowing, it was cold, miserable. And I don't think I ever thought once, what am I going to do if the car dies? I don't think I did. You know, back then, I had a little flip phone, but I don't think I had a signal almost the whole time we were driving. So if something would have went wrong, I wouldn't have had any solutions. I remember one time, and this was just ridiculously stupid. It was late at night, I don't know, probably 11 o'clock, and I'm running low on gas. There is not a gas station open anywhere. And we keep driving and keep driving. I keep pulling off on one exit after another exit. And I pull off on one exit and, you know, I follow the signs to the gas station. Of course, it's closed. Police officer pulls up behind me and wants to know what we're doing. I'm telling him, you know, we're almost out of gas. And he said, well, I don't think you're going to find anything close by tonight. He says there's a rest area, you know, I don't know what he said, 10 miles up the road. If you can make it to the rest area, you need to go there, sleep, and then come back and get gas in the morning. Now I won't even push it past 4 p.m. If it's starting to get to 4 p.m., I'm looking for some place to stop now. The other day when we came here, you know, we went to Mississippi and we got pushed out of Mississippi. You know, we got kicked out of the campground. And we ended up driving through a tornado, and I'm just freaked out. The whole time I'm just like, man, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? You know, we're stuck in between trees and the whole deal. And by the time I started to settle down and think, well, if we don't get out of here, we can literally just park on the road because we're stuck in between two trees. There's a tree down behind us and there's a tree down in front of us. I can literally just get in the camper and sleep until somebody comes and says, okay, the tree's been removed, you're gonna have to move your truck. For some reason, I'm always more worried about being responsible than I am about having fun, which is the exact opposite of the way I was, you know, 20 years ago. And I guess that's just part of growing up. It really is. You know, now we have fewer people that can come to our rescue if something goes wrong. You know, if something goes wrong now, we're kind of on our own. You know, if you're out in the middle of the national forest and I have a heart attack, see, there's something else. You know, Carolyn and I are starting to get to age. I'm not saying that we're at the age where we're unhealthy, but I know people my age that had a heart attack. There's things that are constantly weighing on my mind that make it hard for me to move to the next step. And the reason I bring this up to you is because I see so many people say, Rob, just have fun. Just go out there and enjoy yourself. And I'm telling you, when you're sitting on the couch dreaming about this lifestyle, you still feel invincible. You remember the times where you slept in the back of your car in a rest area. You remember the times when it was so cold that you'd have to get up every few hours, turn the car on to heat it up, but you didn't want to fall asleep because of the carbon monoxide problem. So you remember all those things when you're sitting on your couch. You actually get out here, you got to constantly remind yourself that it's okay. You do have the finances to bail yourself out of an emergency. Thanks for watching. Click like if you like the video, and happy travels.